Well, talking head style videos, kind of like the one you're watching right now, are the simplest kind of video to create, especially if you're a business owner looking to grow your audience on YouTube. But there's more to it than just turning on your camera and talking. Plus, who knows if what you're talking about in your videos are actually going to grow your channel. And since that's kind of the whole point of making simple talking head YouTube videos, we have to talk about it. Recording, editing, and figuring out what to create that will actually grow your channel. Now, if you're new here, my name is Meredith, and I'm here to help you look good, sound good, and feel good on camera so that you can thrive on YouTube. Because I started my channel with simple talking head YouTube videos and screen recordings, like tutorials and how-to videos. And while I haven't hit 1 million subscribers yet, and I'm not making $1 million a year in my business, the business that I did create by making those simple talking head videos brings home more than any full-time job I ever had, has given me more opportunities than I ever thought possible. Plus, it's a whole lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. But when I started my channel, even though I knew I was gonna create simple talking head videos, I never really just sat down and hit record to just talk about whatever the heck I felt like talking about. I always had a plan. What are people searching for on the topics that I want to talk about? What are people watching on other channels on the topics that I want to talk about? And how can I make the process of recording and editing really simple and easy for me so that I can stay consistent? Because when I started, I had a full-time job and 2 little kids, and creating simple videos was really the only thing that I could do to start my YouTube channel. I never grew out of it. That's still just the kind of videos that I create, and it's working for me. So I want to help you make it work for you too. Because I'll be honest with you, I have been known to overcomplicate really simple things before. I've learned my lessons, and I have to tell you up front, you can create really complicated, really time-consuming talking head videos, but you don't have to. It doesn't have to be complicated and time-consuming. Now, I will admit there are times that what looks like a simple talking head video on YouTube actually has some complicated aspects to it, like a bunch of B-roll or multiple camera angles. But I don't want to get into all of that here. I want to talk about making the recording and the editing really simple for you to create. So let's start with the recording. Recording your videos has to be simple for you because it might be the hardest part of the whole process to actually get started. You have to do your hair, you have to do your makeup, you have to know what you're going to say, you have to be prepared in order to hit record. And so if the process of getting to that record button is cumbersome, if you're using complicated software, you have a complicated setup, then what are the chances that you're going to stay consistent with recording your videos, right? Now, I covered this concept of creating a set it and forget it YouTubicle in my Crush It on Camera series. But let's talk about the easy way to record talking head videos, because my go-to for this is Ecamm Live. And I'm a Mac user. Ecamm is a Mac-only program, but don't worry, you could also use OBS if you're on a Windows machine. You can also use it if you're on a Mac, and it's free. It's not quite as simple and intuitive and fun to use as Ecamm, but it is a really good option. You can connect a real camera with a nice lens and have all of your nice lighting and have a really good microphone to create a simple talking head video. The reason why I'm using my hands as I'm talking here is because my camera is right in front of me. I'm talking about creating a simple talking head video by creating a simple talking head video. And so I feel like I'm talking to you, like in person. And I think that's part of the nature of why simple talking head videos do actually work when they are actually simple and when they are on topics that people actually care about. So we'll get more into that in just a minute. However, you don't even really have to use software to record your videos. You can just set your camera up anywhere you want and hit record right into your memory card, and then import that media into your computer and then bring it into your editor, which we're going to talk about in just a moment, because I know editing can be kind of a headache for people who are just trying to keep things simple. And by the way, I always want to make sure that you as the viewer know that I'm not sitting here and like riffing off of my, I make mistakes all the time. Almost every other sentence is a failed sentence. You just saw me do that right now, and I wasn't just doing that for show. I mess up my words a lot, or I rethink how I want to say something. That's just kind of the way that it is. Talking to a camera is not natural, and that's okay. So don't freak out about making mistakes or not knowing what to say or feeling like a deer in headlights, like what are the words that are supposed to come out of my mouth next, because you can edit everything and you can do it really, really simply. Simple is the name of the game when it comes to this particular YouTube video. So I'm going to be honest with you. I love editing videos. I have loved learning how to edit videos over the last like 10 years or so. So I actually like to create a little bit more of a complicated talking head video. I don't go crazy. I'm not making anything like super cinematic. I'm not trying to be a filmmaker, but I do like editing. So I do have a video about how I use Premiere Pro, which is a more advanced video editing software. I would not call that simple video editing. You can create simple talking heads with Premiere Pro, but the process is not exactly simple. If we are talking about just a regular direct address, as it's called officially, video where you're just talking to the camera and you don't want to use complicated software, Descript is for sure the way to go. If you're going to throw in a lot of B-roll or graphics, or you want to do a lot of animations or a lot of fancy schmancy stuff, or you have multiple camera angles, Descript can do all of that. But it's not really designed, like there are better ways to do it, like in Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro. But Descript is known for this like editing concept of editing like a doc, where you have the words on the screen. And just like if you were editing a Word document, you want to get rid of a sentence, you just highlight it and delete. It's the same thing with Descript. And that makes a simple talking head video really simple and easy to edit, because all of the mistakes that you make, you don't have to scrub through the timeline and find all the bad stuff and cut it out and rearrange. It's just like editing a Word doc. You can see all of the mistakes right there on the screen, highlight and delete. So if you're the type of person who wants to create simple talking head videos for YouTube, but you're not the type of person who wants to get into the nitty-gritty details of a timeline editor, then you're going to love Descript. And I have a bunch of videos here on this channel on how to use Descript, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those, because there's more coming. Now, anytime I'm editing a video, whether I'm using something like Descript or I'm going more complicated with Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro or CapCut or really anything, I use the same exact video editing process that I created for myself, so that I didn't have to keep reinventing the wheel for every video that I made or for every video editor that I decided to try to use. So I call this the BFF method. Basic, fine-tune, fancy. I was going to say best friend forever, but I want to be your BFF of creating videos. BFF, basic, fine-tune, and fancy. And this is where Descript comes in so very handy, because for basic edits where you're just getting rid of the stuff that you messed up or the stuff that you don't want to have in your video, or you're just trying to make sure that you have all of the pieces and parts that you need to have in your video, like an intro and then a regular, the meat of the video, and then the outro. You can kind of piece all that stuff together in Descript and have this basic foundation, rough cut, as I like to think of it, because it's kind of like a rough draft of your video. So the B for basic is essentially creating a rough draft for yourself. And then you get to move to the first F, which is the fine-tune phase. And that's where you can go in between any cuts that you made and tighten them up a little bit. Make sure there isn't a bunch of wasted space. I'm putting that in quotes because I don't delete every single breath or every single I want to, it's a little bit of an art form to figure out like what sounds natural and authentic, but also keeps the pace of the video moving. And sometimes there are cuts between sentences or phrases that just don't sound natural. And I go in and I tighten them up and I kind of remove every empty frame that doesn't need to be there. There is B-roll that I need to include, or if there's a screen recording that I need to include, I will usually put those in the fine-tuning phase. And then we move on to fancy. Somewhere between fine-tuning and fancy is where things can get complicated. But if you have background music, you want to put in that background music after you've done your basic edits and after you've fine-tuned everything, usually for the most part. But again, we're talking about simple talking head videos. So if you're a filmmaker, don't come for me on the order of the editing here. If you're a filmmaker, why are you watching this video? Titles, title screens, lower thirds, like my lower third that comes in with my name over here. That's a video file that I created from a template using Adobe After Effects. It's way more complicated and out of the scope of this video, but I just reuse it every single time. It's just like a video file. I just drop it in and it just animates and then goes away. So I don't mess with that until after I have the basic edit and it's all fine-tuned and ready to go, because I don't want to have to rejigger that around various places while I'm just trying to get the basics, you know? The fancy stuff that I do is really, I don't really do that in Descript. You can do fancy stuff in Descript, but it doesn't, it's still, it's Premiere Pro is better for that. Animated text stuff, transitions, sound effects, memes. I'm going to cover those things in how I polish my videos in Premiere Pro. But since, again, we are talking about simple talking head videos, you're probably not doing all those things if you're just trying to create simple talking head videos that don't take forever to edit. So remember I said don't freak out about making mistakes or not knowing what to say, because you can edit all of that out. This is where you get to get rid of all of those mess ups and create a video that looks and sounds cohesive and looks like you know exactly what you're talking about and you know exactly how to talk to a camera. Now, even the simplest talking head videos take time to record and edit, even if you're using like the basic, simplest editing functions that exist. And because you're investing your own time into it, the most important thing that you can do is make sure that the time you put in actually pays off for you. So what I'm talking about here is making sure that your videos do actually grow your channel by selecting topics to create videos about that are going to attract people to your videos, attract new viewers and new subscribers to your videos. And most people at this point, at this stage of where we're at with YouTube and social media and content creation, most people have a basic understanding of how things like keyword research and search engine optimization, SEO, work, but it's not good enough to just take the ideas, the topics in your head that you want to create videos about, and then figure out what the keywords are that you want to try to rank for. If you want your channel to actually grow, meaning actually gain subscribers, you're gonna have to figure out what people are searching for and what people are watching and create videos on those topics. See how it's sort of like flipped around? Because you could create the best talking head video on the planet. You could be the most knowledgeable person on the topics you talk about on the planet. But if nobody's watching your videos because they don't even know to search for them, or they're on topics that people just aren't that interested in, then there's no way for your channel to grow. And then ultimately you're putting time and energy into creating videos that don't get viewers and then don't get subscribers, and then what are you doing YouTube for, right? Now, there's a proven method that I use for making sure that the topics I'm coming up with are things that people are actually watching and interested in and searching for, and I've shared this with my clients and students, and I'm going to share it with you too in just a moment. But what you may not know is YouTube has its own internal research topic ideation function inside of your YouTube analytics. So check this out. Plus, there's also tools like TubeBuddy and vidIQ that guide you through ideating your topics so that your channel will actually attract subscribers. So if you go to studio.youtube.com, assuming you're logged in with your channel, and you go to your analytics and then way over to the research tab, you're going to see explore topics, top searches, recent videos, content gaps for shorts. This is a fairly new sort of section for YouTube having this research tab, because YouTube knows the viewer behavior of the people who are watching your videos. So it knows what other videos and what other channels those people may be watching. And we want to know those things too. So come over to the research tab and you'll see some possible top searches for you. This makes sense, right? Because I have a couple of videos on using a teleprompter, using the Elgato prompter. I'm not using it now, but YouTube knows that I have that content. It knows what the people who watched those videos might be searching for or might have been searching for to find me. It's telling me, hey, here's some ideas for you to create some new videos about. Meredith, teleprompter for YouTube videos, camera and mic setup for YouTube, edit my YouTube video with me. That actually is a good topic. So we have recent videos. Again, these are recent videos. It's saying people who have watched your channel have also watched these recent videos. Content gaps for shorts. We're not even talking about shorts. So the Think Media podcast is a pretty common, like people who watch my channel, there's an overlap between people who watch the Think Media podcast channel. Video podcast, video editing. So these are all ideas that YouTube is telling me, hey, we think you could create videos on these topics and they would probably do pretty well for you. And if you agree, then add these to your topic list. If you don't agree, then there's something not quite right about the videos that people are watching on your channel and the videos that you are planning to create for your channel, but that's a whole separate topic. But I want to show you how to find topics that will give you the most opportunity for new viewers and new subscribers to find you and watch your videos. And I call this the 3x4 method. And chances are, if you want to create simple talking head videos, because you don't want to spend 12 hours a day editing complicated YouTube videos. And trust me, I hear you. So I want to show you how you can come up with a ton of really good ideas that are simple and easy to create so that you could create like 12 videos in about the same amount of time it would normally take you to create one. That would be one video a week for an entire quarter. And of course, I don't know how long it normally takes you to create YouTube videos, right? But I do know that if you struggle with finding time to even create a single YouTube video, then you definitely don't have time to create simple talking head YouTube videos that don't grow your audience. So the key is to create a library of binge-worthy videos. And the 3x4 method is like the express elevator to getting to the place where you actually do have a library of videos. Your channel is thriving, it's booming, it's growing. People are hitting the subscribe button because they're finding your videos, all of your videos out there in the algorithm. So this 3x4 method is a training that I created for my students inside of my 30 Days to a Thriving YouTube channel program. But I'm going to link it up for you below, because I think once you see how easy it is, now that you know how easy it is to record and edit, once you see how easy it is to come up with topics that people want to watch on YouTube, that people are searching for so that they can come and binge them on your channel, you'll see how easy it is to grow your channel with simple talking head YouTube videos. So you can find the link to the 3x4 method through the link down in the description.